Hello, this is Wmpyr. In this video, I would like to talk about how to use B1Escrima. So B1Escrima is my style, my martial arts style that I developed throughout my martial arts journey. And, the basic DNA is right here. You have to understand the 3 types of combat and the 4 ranges of combat. And this could honestly be applied to any style out there, but the 3 types of combat consists of assault, fighting, and self-defense. So the idea here is that you could choose any one of these. So when you're in a situation, you can decide, do I want to use assault tactics? Do you want to use fighting tactics? Or do you want to use self-defense tactics? That is up to you. Now, that being said, I highly recommend that you let the situation tell you which one to use rather than you pick what you want to use. Because chances are what you want to use is not the right tool for the situation. A lot of times, I would probably say 9 times out of 10, just because it's so natural for us to just fight. We get emotional, we get upset, we get angry, and rage fills us, and we just want to fight. And that is probably not the right answer. So I'm just saying, you can choose any one of those 3, but it's better if you observe and let the situation tell you which one of the 3 you really need. The 4 ranges of combat is no matter what style and no matter what type of combat this is. This could be a home invasion, this can be a mugging, this could be a street fight, a bar fight, it could even be war. But always distance will be a factor. Distance will always exist. So whether there's rules, no rules, multiple attackers, weapons involved or not, distance will always exist. That's why I'm going by distance. All right, this is bare bones minimum. So anyway, once we understand that, like I said, we could go into the 3 types of combat. So let me go ahead and start with assault. So in B1Escrima, this is my notes on Captain Fairbairn's gutter fighting. And for assault, I recommend Captain Fairbairn's method. It's nice and simple. In fact, I try to make all of B1Escrima nice and simple, because if it's not simple and clear, easy to learn, easy to understand, then when you really need it in a real life situation, you're going to be fumbling, you're going to be confused, you're going to be having a hard time accessing your skills, and that's not what we want. So in that sense, it's great if you have a very complex martial arts style that's very, very deep, and it's a lifelong study, and you're like a professor, you're like a scientist, and you have accumulated all this knowledge. That's all awesome. But as far as application, as far as real life usage goes, it needs to be organized in a very simple to use structure. So with Captain Fairbairn's gutter fighting, we have shit, shock, hit, throw, essentially. So the first step is a surprise attack. You want to shock them. The second one is you want to hit them hard to off balance them. And then number 3 is you want to take them down. So shock, hit, throw. Okay? Nice and easy. The next one is this, the Muay Thai formula. This is for fighting. Okay? For me personally, fighting-wise in B1Escrima, yes, I cross-trained in a bunch of combat sports styles. So boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai, judo, sambo, a little bit here and there. Just a little, not a lot of those, obviously. I'm no expert. Just a little bit each. I'm not a professional fighter, but I did study a whole bunch of those. I did get to cross train and experience, in some cases, fight fight against some of those people. But the main thing is, I personally like the old school MMA before it was MMA. I feel like that is closer to a street fight. So for me, that just works. And that was also the era when I was getting into this stuff. Um, that was the time when the UFC just hit the US, and like I said, it wasn't even called MMA at the time. It was called free fighting, or NHB, no holds barred fighting. In Brazil, it's called Vale Tudo. So anyway, as far as Muay Thai kickboxing goes, it's one of the styles that I really, really liked from the combat sports. And I picked up this formula somewhere along the lines. I really, really apologize, because I always tell you guys, cite your sources. And in this case, I don't know. I don't remember the source. I just remember the formula blew me away, and I've kept it ever since. I want to say that it was Maurice Smith, one of his instructional videos, or maybe a article in Black Belt magazine or something like that. Or maybe it wasn't Black Belt magazine. Maybe it was Inside Kung Fu magazine. I don't remember, honestly. Yeah, so it's unfortunate that I don't remember, but the general idea here is that in Thailand, they've been doing Muay Thai because it's their national sport. They've been doing it for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and this formula came out where it's a high percentage that kicks will lose to punches, punches will lose to knees, knees will lose to elbows, and elbows will lose to kicks. It's a simple formula, and a great way to train it is I have my training partner in front of me, and when they're kicking, I'm going to throw punches. And if they start kicking, then, yeah, it just tells me immediately to go into punching, If they start kneeing, then I do elbows. If they start punching, I do knees. If they start using elbows, then I use kicks. It's just my partner can change it up, and they'll start throwing knees, and then I'll immediately know, okay, I got to counter that with elbows. Or they'll start punching, and I'll be like, okay, I need to counter that with knees. So that's just high percentage. This formula is very deep. You could go into it, and if you understand it, then you could break the formula too. Like why kicks lose to punches. Why punches lose to knees. Like you understand that, so then now you could throw punches and not lose to knees, because you know what exactly about knees destroys punches. And this is just a general idea. You could watch the UFC, any UFC event, and then go, oh, this guy's a very good kicker. Let's see if he's going to lose to a very good puncher. You can kind of test out the formula that way, Or this guy's very, very good with elbows. Let's see if he's going to have problems with a guy who's very good with kicking, So, yeah, definitely test it out for yourself. But this is something that I like to fall back on as far as fighting skills go, all right? It's not set in stone, okay? Don't think that, oh, this is set in stone and this is 100%. No, this is just high percentage, okay? That's the way to use it, and to help you understand kicks compared to punches, punches compared to knees. Like everyone studies kicks, everyone studies punches, everyone studies knees, elbows, but to study it comparing to the other tools, that's what this kind of encourages. So it's very interesting. And then the last one is self-defense. So for self-defense, of course, I have these two for the main thing right here, the diamond defense and the fiend. And it's divided into, for the diamond defense, it is in long range and the opponent is moving. Very, very key word. Opponent is moving, and it has to be in long range. You could use it in close range. Heck, you could even try to use it in ground range, but the thing about this is the closer you get to the opponent, the higher the diamond defense, the higher chance that it will fail. So the further away, the better. That's why long range, okay? And once again, the opponent is moving. In other words, they are in mid-attack. That's when you use this, all right? So the fiend, on the other hand, the fiend method is for close range, and the opponent is stationary. Okay, so close range meaning close range equals the clinch. So this is for the clinch. And the opponent has to be stationary. So then the obvious question is, what happens? What happens if you're in close range, but the opponent is moving? So then what? Well, in that case, you have to stop their movement. And that's why I say to you guys, you jam their arm. You pin it. You jam it. You stuff it. You pin it against their body. You pin it against you. Whatever it takes, you have to stop their arm. And once they become stationary, okay, they're not in mid-attack, then you could apply the fiend method. So in other words, it's only the diamond defense or the fiend. You cannot do close range when the opponent is moving. Okay, well, what about in long range where the opponent is stationary? Well, then you can get away. you can get it. That's not a problem, right? So yeah, the diamond defense is you're using the defense bag. You're using the defense bag plus the force to force block. All right. So for the fiend, it is close range. It's the clinch. So that's why we're using grappling, which is grab, wrap, and wrench. Stand-up grappling, to be more specific. So anyway, this is how you use B1Escrima. So thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.